Welcome to long division. So we are learning to divide the long way. All right, so when we do this, we're dividing factors into polynomials. We should divide, to remind you guys how to actually long divide here. So remember, if I say 512 divided by 4, so we're just doing a brief example or two to remind you of how to divide long division, and when then dividing in a polynomial, it makes it pretty easy. So you look 4, how many times does 4 go into 5? Well, once. And then we do 1 times 4. Remember, that's multiplication there. And we put that here, and then we subtract. So just remember, those are the processes. Okay, after we've done that, we bring down the 1, and we say, okay, how many times can 4 here go into 11? Well, 4 can go into 11 twice. So, and then we do 4 times 2. That's 8. Put it down there, and we subtract. And then we bring the 2 down. How many times does 4 go into 32? Well, 8. 8 times 4 is 32, and we subtract. Here, this is the remainder. Remainder. That's the remainder. That word right there would be a quotient. This is the dividend. Oh my God, all the words. My 5th grade daughter had a test on this the other day, so I'm hoping you remember this. And 4 is the divisor. All wonderful things. So just remember that if you multiply the divisor, that's this guy, times the quotient, plus the remainder, you should always get the dividend. So that just means if I can check this by doing 4 times 1, I don't know why I'm making this symbol, my programming life. 4 times 128 is 512. If I add 0 to it, obviously. That's it. So that's long division. So why don't you try and long divide the next guy? All right, hopefully you got 128 with the remainder of 1. So the way we write this is 128 plus 1/4. That's the answer, because 1 still has to be divided by 4, and it can't be. To check, if we wanted to check our work, we would know it's 128 plus 4. That's 512, as we just did in the last problem. So we add then the remainder on, and we get 513. So this was just a check, and this is how we write our answer. Hopefully this helps you, remind you how to do these things for when we do, when we do long division with polynomials. So it's the same idea. We're doing the same basic stuff. I want to divide it by 3x minus 2, so that goes there. Then I put this here. Now, a few things you have to know about what I'm writing down right now. This needs to go in descending order, and we can't miss any pieces. So that descending order, just recall, starts at the largest exponent and goes down to, this is 3, 2, 1, 0. But if there was anything missing, we would have to put something in there. We would put 0 in there as a placeholder. So then this basic process is the same. We look here, 3x minus 2, and we look at the 3x part and how it compares to this. We say to ourselves, 3x times what would give me 6x cubed. You can think of it as you can just do the division in your head, but since we're dividing here, I don't want to confuse you. So if I multiply 3x times 2x squared, I'm going to get that. We always need to get this exactly. So that's it. Then we take this 2x squared and we multiply it times 3x, and we multiply it times negative 2. So you have to distribute to both of those pieces. So this becomes 6x cubed minus 4x squared. Now this part we subtract. Now I like to circle. When you subtract, you change the sign of everything and add. So that's what I'm going to do there. This is my process. You can do it however you want, but that's what I like to do. So when we do this here, I get negative 12x squared. The process is the same. The next thing gets brought down. And then I look at the first piece and the first piece here. If I multiply 3x times what, I will get negative 12x squared. Well, it's negative 4x. And remember, you have to distribute. You take this negative 4x and multiply it times both those pieces. So you get negative 12x squared plus 18x. And now we have to subtract. So we change the signs and add. So the first one should always cancel out because that's what we do. And the second one, I should just get, I don't know why that says 18. That should just be 8. I can't erase now, but pretend that's not there. Sorry. So that should be 9x. So it's 17 minus 8 is 9x. We bring down the negative 6. 3x times what will give me 9x? Well, that's 3. Do the multiplying. Remember, we have to multiply both the pieces. So it would be 9x minus 6. Oh, look, it's exactly the same. So when I subtract, I'm left with 0, a remainder of 0. So our answer, and you do have to take it off the line. You can't just like circle it there or whatever. You take it off the line. It's 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. Yay. All right, next. Moving on. So if we move down, if we want to check the solution, remember we said that before, if you multiply this guy and this guy together and you add the remainder, you should get this answer back. So to check this, we simply are going to multiply 3x minus 2, remember this is our check, times 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. So take a second, this is how I'm going to do it, and do the multiplication and make sure it works. So a check is kind of like a proof. This is the original, whatever, and this is what I did to multiply. They're exactly the same, so they check. All right, just one more time, just notice the words we're using here, write the following as a quotient plus an irreducible fraction, and that was like the 1/4 at the beginning on the other side. Remember that I spoke about this before, use zeros as placeholders if you don't happen to have a degree that you need. So we're going to divide x minus 2 into 4x to the 4th. Now there is no x cubed, so I have to put 0x cubed. Minus 4x squared plus 6x. And there's no number, so we have to put the 0. So all the way down to the number, you need to put the values. So again, you always look at the first term. X times what will give me 4x to the 4th? Well, that's 4x cubed. And multiply it through. You get 4x to the 4th minus 8x cubed. Okay, and then we're going to subtract. So change the sign, change the sign. I always circle it so I know I did it. Those cancel out, and I am left with 8x cubed. So take a second and finish this for yourself, and we'll come back when it's over. So this is what I got. You may want to pause it, look it, make sure, fairly certain I'm right. You never know. So you'll notice I got a remainder of 60. Excuse me. That's my remainder. So what the question says here is write your answer, write the following as your quotient plus an irreducible fraction. That just means cannot be reduced. Cannot reduce. Whatever, if you can read that I wrote cannot reduce. And so what that means is I'm going to take it as this is the quotient, as we said before, and then the remainder still has to be divided by x minus 2. So we just write it like that. So we simply do, the answer is 4x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x plus 30 plus the remainder still has to be divided by x minus 2. So this is the irreducible fraction. Cannot reduce that fraction no matter how hard we try. So this is your solution. I know it's weird. It's just the way it is. Have a good day.